Hello everyone, welcome to Analog IAS current affair analysis for 24th April 2020, and these are the articles we'll be dealing today. The first article for the day is very important from the preliminary examination perspective. We will be talking about the targeted long-term repo operations and why this particular repo auction has got a poor response. So whenever we are trying to solve a problem, it does not hurt to take inspiration from different places. So similarly, Reserve Bank of India has taken some cues from other central banks of the developed countries and came up with ideas to stimulate our economy during this times of slowdown. So as a beginning step, RBI has taken inspiration from the United States of America's Operation Twist. So what actually happens in Operation Twist? So to understand this, you have to understand the concept of bond yield. So whenever there is a lot of yield on a bond, it means that the bond is a risky proposition. So if a particular government bonds yield is increasing, it just means that it is moving towards the junk status. So that phenomenon is very dangerous for an economy because the investors are feeling that it is risky to invest even in government securities, and the credibility of government is at stake if the bond yield is increasing. So in the Operation Twist, what essentially happens is you sell the short term bonds and buy the long term bonds to reduce their yield, because when the demand for a bond increases, the yield for that bond decreases. That is the basic fundamental objective behind this Operation Twist. Similarly, to inject liquidity into the system, the government has opted for this long term repo operations but made it in a very targeted way. So last month, RBI has notified that it would be coming up with long term repo operations, but in the phase of COVID crisis, it made sure that there is a target for this long term repo operations. Generally, to ensure that there is monetary policy transmission, RBI has taken various measures like reducing the reverse repo rate. Now the reverse repo rate is 3.75%, and banks would rather lend it because the repo rate is 4.4%. They would find it more incentivizing to lend this money rather than keep it with RBI. So in tune with these kind of measures, RBI has notified the targeted long term repo operations to ensure that the yield remains stable. However, it enforced a condition that non-banking financial companies or the companies which lend to MSME sector get a majority of the loans. In order to ensure that MSME sector gets enough liquidity and thereby NBFC has enough liquidity to support MSME sector, RBI has forced this long-term repo operations to be used for NBFC financing and liquidity. However, the banks did not like this, and therefore you see a poor response right now. That is the basic fundamental behind this article. If you want to understand the logic behind long-term repo operations, please watch the high yielding series of prelims 2020. I've explained in detail about what this Operation Twist is, what is the relation between bond yields and government securities, what is yield management, what is long term repo operations, what is targeted long term repo operations. All these are explained in those videos. So please do watch them, they are extremely important for prelims 2020. The next article for the day is taken from the Live Mint and it is titled, "We must know what works in a crisis and what doesn't." If we take a look at the decisions taken by the government, there is an extremely important concept called flattening the curve. So this became a common parlance even among citizens who do not understand much about statistics. So the underlying idea is we should not allow an increase in the number of cases, and only when the curve flattens we can ensure that we can partially lift down this lockdown. So what is the meaning of this? The meaning is that we have to take up decisions based on the available data and what it tells us. So during these times of lockdown, the most important problem we have is the lack of this data and emphasis on critical applied research that are essential for taking decisions in respective sectors of economy as well as governance issues as well. One of the major problems with respect to empirical research or statistical research is the lack of any movement in our country at this moment. So there is a complete lockdown, and we don't have any sources to carry out surveys, and we don't have the apparatus to capture proper data, which is very much crucial for our decision makings during this time. However, the writer of this article says that we still have avenues and cites global level scenarios like the case of United Nations Children's Emergency Fund in Congo. So the article quotes this example as the basis for carrying out analysis. This data is being used by Congo to come up with targeting their operations in the country appropriately and ensure that most of the children, especially between the age groups of 0 to 23 months, 2 to 5 years, 6 to 11 years, so across different segments, are not deprived on any indicators during these times of crisis. So if you ignore geography and geographical information, the data will not make any sense. So every decision that you take in a particular geography should come from the basis of data itself. So we have to gather all our armory and come up with data sets that are relevant for a particular geography. The author quotes an empirical research where they found that even without socioeconomic data, our estimates remain just as good, because if we extrapolate the available data for a particular geography, more or less we will be hitting the target. So those kind of socioeconomic movements you see across a span of 4 or 5 years wouldn't change drastically unless there is a specific governance model that turn the tables around for that particular geography. Another interesting example is the one in Philippines. So the author quotes an example on the on ground data where they conducted an analysis for differential responses to a typhoon called Haiyan. So what was the kind of response for the disaster? So the authors found that it depends on what is the kind of political setup that geography has, what is the level of corruption that geography has, and what is the climate of that region, what is the elevation of that region. All this geographic data should be extrapolated to the socio-economic conditions and then base your decision on that. So there are tangible elements like weather, climate patterns, etc., and there are intangible elements like the general political culture which is prevalent in a geography. Unless and until you put both these things in a context, you will not be able to come up with a proper decision. So if someone in Delhi sits and decides what is right for a country in the southernmost corner of the country without having any access to data, most likely those policies are going to fail. That is the point that this author is trying to say. So recently we have had a news item where the government is trying to consider what is the kind of response for COVID-19 across different states. So the central government wanted to call up the citizens directly and understand their concerns. This is a good step because in these times of lockdown, this is one way where we can gather data. So what are the key takeaways in this scenario? First one, the survey that is being conducted should be focused on getting the maximum number of phone numbers across different geographies. Secondly, we have to keep such kind of surveys short, and thirdly, we have to ensure that there is a set of outcomes that you are focused upon. So for example, if you want to come up with a survey that is trying to understand the response for COVID-19, you have to identify 10 different parameters that you want to target. So the next step would be to follow it up frequently at a regular interval of time and ensure that data is verified again and again. So to conclude, the author of this article is trying to say, instead of focusing on what shall not work, we have to think about available data sets, what works, because absence of data means unpredictable consequences based on our policy. The best bet we have right now is to ensure that we gather all our resources and garner all our data sets together to come up with a rational policy decision. So this just is very important for our exam and essay. That's it for the day. Thank you.